If you peer in from the outside, Benjamin Rich, better known as Bald and Bankrupt, has the perfect life. After all, who wouldn't love to travel and be paid for it? Rich's claim to fame were his daring and unique travel vlogs, exploring the depths of post-Soviet states and going down a path where few other travelers dared to go. Today, his YouTube channel has 4.4 million subscribers and more than 680 million views, capturing audiences with his raw takes on places like Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia. His gritty journeys through irradiated zones and hidden, struggling towns turned him into a kind of legend among travel enthusiasts. Rich initially launched his YouTube career after experiencing bankruptcy in the UK and traveling to India to capture lesser-seen parts of life there, including exposing scams against tourists. His unconventional and unfiltered takes resulted in an immediate success, mostly because every adventure had an edge to it that felt genuine. Rich was the fearless traveler, willing to push boundaries for the sake of viewers. He even wrote a book under the pseudonym Arthur Chichester, titled The Burning Edge, traveling through irradiated Belarus, and it seemed like there was no limit to where he would go or what he would risk for the sake of an authentic experience. But not all his explorations resulted in pure entertainment. Some even had hard-hitting real-life consequences. In 2022, Rich was arrested for unauthorized entry into the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Russia, which is a heavily restricted area due to the country's space program. His unauthorized access there led to an arrest, a temporary ban, and strained relations with Russian authorities, which was a devastating blow for his content that relied heavily on Russian locations. Still, Rich didn't give up. Although he could no longer film in Russia, Ukraine, or Belarus due to geopolitical and personal restrictions, he continued to explore other offbeat locations around the world, retaining his core fan base. But with time, a different side to reality has started to emerge, and as it turns out, not all is golden and shining in Richu world. Beneath the surface of his charisma lays a past that would surprise even his most loyal followers. Allegations about his behavior with women and his involvement in the pickup artist community started circulating online, including some old forum posts where Rich discussed using social circle game to make local friends who would introduce him to women, and an old video from his travels to India where he was casually fetishizing the on-duty female police officers. These weren't just isolated remarks. Rich was also linked to forum communities centered on exploitative tactics and predatory behavior, rumors about his association with tourism and the so-called manosphere culture, similar to controversial figures like Andrew Tate. Some fans were greatly disappointed and disillusioned to find that the traveler they admired for his openness and friendliness may have held such troubling views behind the scenes. Rich was accused of using his trips to pursue young women, especially in regions like Eastern Europe, where he frequently vlogged. One former travel companion, Tall Travels, publicly commented on Rich's behavior, claiming, "This charm that you see in his videos is all superficial. To any others who think that they are friends with Bald, I can assure them they are not." Although some of the allegations were anonymous, they couldn't be dismissed outright because of Bald's tendency to make inappropriate comments and record women at work or in compromising positions in public. Because of this, a small but vocal group of former fans and online detectives have set out to find out who the real Benjamin Rich is. So far, they have traced posts and usernames back to him, drawing connections between his experiences abroad and a potential history of using sex workers, as well as a string of unsettling encounters with young women. A Brighton article alleged a serious case of assault tied to Rich's history, and although this allegation was not something he has addressed, it certainly added fuel to the fire of ongoing investigations by critics and concerned viewers. Most viewers felt betrayed, as if Rich's travels were no longer innocent or adventurous, but carried an undertone of exploitation and privilege. His reluctance to take a clear stance during the Ukraine-Russia conflict raised even more suspicion, but when he finally spoke up after a year of silence, it made things that much worse. Despite all this, Rich has a dedicated following who are willing to separate the man from the content, and Bald and Bankrupt remains one of the most watched travel channels on YouTube. And perhaps that's why he's so compelling, because his story is as unfinished as the territories he explores, leaving viewers both captivated and uncertain about who the man behind the camera really is.